Making a new project is easy in Cubase, but it's important to understand the folder structure so that you know what all the extra files are for. When you launch Cubase, it starts off with a blank screen, unless you have the general preferences set so that Cubase loads up the Last Project or Show Open Options dialog. For this example, we're using the setting Show Open Options dialog. Let's choose New Project from the File menu. The Templates dialog box pops up. Cubase comes with predefined templates and you can create your own. Templates save you time by providing you with a preset structure that you can start from. We'll show you how to create templates later in this series. For now, let's choose Empty and click OK. Choose a location on the hard drive where your new project folder will be stored. For every project you create, you need to store it in a different folder. Make sure you are not storing all of your projects in the same folder. This will only lead to confusion and frustration later. Don't forget to see our video on managing audio on this DVD, just in case you store all of your projects in one folder. I'm going to store it on the desktop for now, but this is only a temporary location. You should create a special folder that you store all of your Cubase project folders in on your main hard drive or dedicated audio drive if you have one. Create a folder on the hard drive using a name that is unique for this project. In our case, New Cubase Project is a good name. Make sure the folder you created is selected and press OK. Notice that Cubase opens a project called Untitled1. Basically, we've created a project folder on the hard drive, but we haven't saved our actual Cubase project file yet. Let's do that now. Even though you may not want to save your project now and get working on music, it's very important to take care of this at the beginning, before you get too caught up in the music to remember. Also, you don't want to end up with a bunch of songs called Untitled1, as this will only lead to further confusion and frustration in the future. Choose File, Save or Save As, and then type a name in for the project. I'll call it My First Project. Notice that Cubase automatically selects the right folder for us. Click Save and notice that Untitled1 has changed to our new project name, My First Project. Now let's see how that looks on the hard drive. You can see we are in the folder that we created called New Cubase Project. Cubase has automatically created a folder called Audio. This is where your audio files will be stored for that project. And here's our Cubase project file called My First Project. Cubase will create 3 more folders called Edits, Fades, and Images as you record and edit your project. The Edits folder contains offline processing. The Fades folder contains fade in, fade out, and crossfade files. And the Images folder contains images of your audio files so that Cubase can draw your audio waveforms on the screen really fast. Cubase can auto-save for you in case the computer crashes or there is a power outage or some other unlikely event. Go to the File menu, Preferences, and then click on General. You can turn autosave on. Choose a time interval for when the save takes place, and tell Cubase how many different backup files to keep. If you have one selected here, the backup file will automatically be replaced with the last saved one. It's a good idea to add a few more for safety. With our new project up, let's go to Project and select Project Setup. This is where we can define our project settings. The start is the start time of the project. You can have the project start at another time other than 0. The length of the project can be set here. If your project is 3 minutes long, set this to 3 minutes 20 seconds. This lets the overview work and look better. There's no sense in having an extra hour after your project if you're not using it. You'll see this in action in the chapter on the project page. The frame rate is used if you are synchronizing Cubase with external equipment. If Cubase is set to slave, this value is automatically set to the frame rate of the incoming sync signal. If Cubase is set to master, this determines the frame rate of the sent sync signal. The display format sets the global display format used for all rulers and position displays in the program, such as the transport panel, the project page, and editors. However, you can make independent display format selections for the individual rulers of those windows and displays if you like. The display offset offsets the time positions displayed in the ruler, allowing you to compensate for the start position setting. Typically, if you synchronize Cubase to an external source starting at a frame other than 0, you set the start position to this value. However, if you still want the display in Cubase to start at 0, set the display offset to the same value as well. The bar offset works just like the display offset described above, in that it offsets the time position in the ruler by a number of bars, allowing you to compensate for the start position setting. The difference is that the bar offset is only used when the bars and beats display format is selected. The sample rate, record format, and record file type are pretty much self-explanatory. 16-bit 44.1 is CD quality. Anything higher gives you better quality but takes up more space on your hard drive. While 16-bit may be CD quality, setting the bit rate to 24 or 32 will give you even better quality recordings, so long as your sound card supports this. Most of them do today. Here, you can pick what type of file Cubase will record. WAV file tends to be the safest, even for Mac users, since the Mac and PC can both easily play back the WAV files. One thing to note here is that if you choose Broadcast WAV file, you can embed the description, author, and reference in the recorded files. This can be done in the Preferences window under Record, Broadcast WAV submenu. Stereo pan law is a little bit tricky to explain quickly, so we'll discuss this in detail in Level 4 of this tutorial series. With all of that said, you're now ready to start working in Cubase on your first project.